hope that they can make the case go away. And we cannot let them do that. It took a mass movement to force the courts to hold the killers of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery accountable. This time is no different. Time and time again, we hear from politicians about how this is an exception, it's just a few bad apples, and that the police need more training. But like, really, how much training does an officer need? How much training does an officer need before they won't beat a young black man to death in the street? This is not an issue of training. This isn't even an issue of individual bad apples or bad cops. It's systemic. This is not a bug in the system, an anomaly, or a few specific officers. This is who police are, and this is what they do. Last year, police in this country murdered a record number of people. At least 1,176 people were murdered in 2022. More in 2022 than in 2021. And more in 2021 than in 2020. So the numbers just keep going up. 1,176 lives snuffed out with no accountability for their killers. Body cameras, sensitivity training, these are not going to cut it. This is baked into policing as a profession in this country. Again, the idea that these killings will stop if we just weed out a few particularly bad officers, provide more training, make them wear body cameras, it's fundamentally flawed because it blames these killings on individuals when we see more and more that these killings in every part of the country going up every year. We see that the problem is with policing as an institution. A system that grew out of slave catchers and strike breakers is not going to be reformed by removing a few individuals. That's what policing is in America. It upholds the rule of the rich by protecting their property and keeping the poor and oppressed beaten and in line. It is the whole damn system that is guilty, and the whole system that has got to go.
The whole damn system.
The whole damn system. Under our current system, all a police officer has to do is say they feared for their life, and they can get away with literally anything, even the murder of 1,100 people. So we say this system doesn't work for black people in this country. This system doesn't work for immigrants in this country. And this system doesn't work for the working class people in this country. This system only works for the people who built it, and that's the rich. After the historic uprising against racism in 2020, politicians said they heard us, that they'd listen to our demands. Yet the Law Enforcement Bill of Rights that makes holding violent officers accountable virtually impossible still hasn't been repealed. We are still spending hundreds of millions of dollars every year for more cops in this state. And nationally, Joe Biden, who got elected saying he'd be different than Trump, now wants to spend billions to hire even more. Again, even more cops all over the country. We cannot rely on these politicians to listen to us, and much less to solve this crisis. We are going to solve this the only way workers in this country have ever been able to, by coming together in mass numbers and forcing the change to happen. A mass movement of people standing together as one and demanding real change, not promises, not training, not body cameras, but the actual disarming and abolition of policing as we know it. That is the only way we will ever achieve a safer society, where 1,000 people are not taken from their loved ones every year by the same people who are supposedly there to serve and protect. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Again, we have to stick together. We have to make sure these politicians know we're serious and that we're not going away. Change not only has to happen, but it will happen. And we, the working people of this country, will make it happen. Thank you.
No good cop in a racist system. No one's free in a racist system. No good cop in a racist system.
No one's free in a racist system.
No good cop in a racist system.
No one's free in a racist system.
No good cop in a racist system.
No one's free in a racist system.
No good cop in a racist system. No one's free in a racist system.
No good cop in a racist system.
No one's free in a racist system. I'm going to bring up Christian to the mic. He is an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation. No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
no peace.
Word. My name is Christian, and I'm an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation. And I wish we were here under happier circumstances. Yet again, another young black man has been murdered by the police. Tyre Nichols was pulled over for a routine traffic stop and never got to see his family again. This young man was viciously beaten to death, and they have the nerve to ask us to be calm and trust that the very same system that brutally killed him will provide justice for his death. We've been through this too many times before to believe that one. The police don't even hide their intentions. The cops that murdered Tyre Nichols were part of the Memphis Police Department's so-called Scorpion Unit. This group, formed in 2021, supposedly to fight crime, has largely served to bring violence and terror to the people of Memphis. One resident told local reporters that members of the unit approached him at a gas station and threatened to blow his head off if he didn't let them search his trunk for drugs. There were no drugs, and the officers later admitted they were just harassing an innocent person. One of the officers that beat Nichols was a former police guard who beat an inmate unconscious and received no punishment for it. These special police units have nothing to do with fighting crime and everything to do with suppressing poor communities through violence and terror. This is the rule, not the exception. We've seen it for ourselves. Right here in Providence, when the cops ran Jamal Gonzalez off the road, sending him into a coma, we were told to trust the system. But what happened? None of the police responsible for his injuries were ever held to account. Just last year, police from all over Rhode Island beat two teenage boys in Olneyville so badly that his head was split open and was taken to the hospital. It was reported that there was no contact between the officers and those young people. The officers were suspended with pay. Just last year, police pepper sprayed and assaulted 4 young black people in South Providence, violently arresting them and brutalizing 5 more. These people were between the ages of 1 and 21. Those arrested were locked in the back of a hot police van on a 90-degree day. The cops laughed while they screamed for help, asking someone to treat the pepper spray that was put in their eyes. This could be any of us. It could be our children, siblings, parents, family, or friends. And just 3 weeks ago, Arif Faisal, a 20-year-old Bangladeshi man, was murdered by the Cambridge Police Department when he was just asking for help. We still don't know the names of the killers, since the police and the state are simply hiding the names of the killers who they know. This isn't just a Memphis problem. This isn't just a Providence problem. This isn't just a big city problem. This is a police problem, and it's time we actually treat it like the systemic problem that it is. Every time something like this happens, we're told to focus on the individual killer cops and to ignore the system as a whole. But that's just a way for politicians to dodge the issue. They've tried to pacify us with offers of police body cameras, sensitivity training, so-called community policing, and many other supposed reforms. They feel the heat. This is not real justice. This is damage control. This is a counterinsurgency tactic meant to quiet us down, meant to handle us, and keep things the way they are. Are we going to stand for that?
No.
Are we going to stand for that?
No.
We're told every year that if we don't like the system we live under, we just have to vote to change it. But it doesn't matter if it's a red state or a blue state. If a city is run by Democrats or Republicans, the police will still kill black folks, immigrants, and the poor with no accountability. Changing what flavor of capitalist is in charge of ruling over us here has no effect on the rate at which their armed guards and hired guns with badges are killing us. In Atlanta, people have fought for years to stop the destruction of their local forests, to build a massive camp for cops to practice new methods of violence to deploy against the working class. They followed every procedure, tried every avenue legally possible. Yet still, both parties continue to support this project that the people don't want. So much so, they stood behind the police even after they murdered a peaceful protester. Tort, who the cops baselessly accused of attacking them and threatening them, was gunned down by cops for the crime of peacefully protesting. This doesn't sound like any democracy I grew up being taught. It sounds a lot more like, regardless of which capitalist party is in charge at the moment, they're both in full support of the police state. So we can't just wait and hope the system will change on its own. And we can't just vote blue no matter what and keep begging the Democrats to solve a problem they're just as invested as the Republicans. What we can do, though, is fight to change the system ourselves. Every major progressive change we've seen in this country has come as the result of a mass movement. Not from writing to your senator, not from appealing to politicians' better nature, and not from voting. Millions of people coming together in the streets and demanding change is the one tried and true way we can make our voices heard. Because at the end of the day, if we come together as working people, we have all the power. Their wealth is based on the backs of our toiling. So when we stand together united, saying it can't go on this way anymore, we can't stand by while thousands are killed every year, we have to make a real change in this country. We have to come together in such numbers that the state has no choice but to convict Tyre Nichols' killer. If we do nothing, we are guaranteed to lose more and more of our people. Organizing is our only fighting chance. If we don't fight, we can't win. So we have to make the hard choice to stand with our neighbors and our fellow workers and demand change, not just business as usual. Dare to struggle, dare to win. Thank you.
If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice,
They don't get no peace.
if we don't get no justice,
They don't get no peace.
if we don't get no justice,
They don't get no peace.
if we don't get no justice,
They don't get no peace.
if we don't get no justice.
They don't get no peace.
I want to close this off tonight with some revolutionary optimism, because this movement needs optimism. It needs us to fight knowing that not only can we win, but we will win. We believe that we can and we will change the society around us by struggling against the people who benefit from the system remaining as it is. Having homelessness so the rich can have mansions. Having people die of preventable illnesses so corporations can profit off of medicine. Murdering black people in the street for nothing because racism is an essential part of capitalism, but also because Black America is an essential part of the most powerful enemy of the rich, and that's the working class. Our struggles are deeply connected, and we can't let up. Are you gonna let up?
No.
Are you gonna let up?
No.
Are we gonna let up?
No.
If they want to tire us out, they want to get us convinced that they'll make a reform to our benefit. If giving us a carrot is an inch the rich give up, they'll gain a mile if it means our class stops organizing and taking to the streets to demand our liberation. So you all are joining us today in the struggle against racist police terror in the streets, but we are not the whole movement. This movement is still alive in the minds of all of the people, the millions of Americans and people across the world who were out in the streets in summer 2020 to protest racist police violence. They're alive in the minds of all of the people who are at home watching this video, horrified, but knowing that they have to look because they know that their anger is necessary to take down this system. This movement is bigger than all of us, and we need to keep fighting for the day that this moment pops off again, and we are going to be ready next time to take this system down bit by bit and build one that is ready for working people, for black people to be safe, equal, free, and protected in this society. Stop the war on Black America! Stop the war on Black America!
Stop the war on Black America.
Stop the war on Black America!
Stop the war on Black America.
Let's do a couple more chants, because we're all out here and we're mad, and we need to remember why we're here fighting. We need to remember that there's a system that we have to take down. End racist police terror.
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 Indict, convict, send these killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. They say get back, we say fight back. They say get back,
We say fight back.
they say get back.
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 We say fight back.
Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Keep the movement alive. This is not our last night protesting racist police terror. We are going to keep going until every one of these racist cops is out of their jobs and every black person in America can be safe. Thank you.
Pull up to you.